Anyway, hi, welcome to Star Tripper, where the tripping is not because everything's cool and fun and sci-fi. The tripping is because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Um, yeah. Anyway, so we've done our world building, we did our character creation, we finished up our last couple questions. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, this is literally going to be the beginning of our game, like the beginning of our story this time. So just like a quick kind of overview of the world. We are in the galaxy Beta Proxima, the next best thing that we could find from the Milky Way. It's pretty good, all things considered. There's not giant monsters here. There's not, like, hordes of undead. The one kind of interesting thing is that every once in a while, rifts, like wormholes, open up between places and can cause some weird funkiness. But they can also be anchored down and then used to, like, connect planets and orbital space systems and stuff so that you can instantaneously travel or send information from them. So, it's not all bad. In our little corner of space, in our little sector, which is called the Invidia Verge, out in the Outlands, our main character, Cassandra Cassie Nazari, was one of the techs. I made a little thing for her. Do you want to see? These are some of our people. I made one for Vesper. Here she is. So she was originally on this planet Eos with her parents. She was raised on this temporary station orbiting Eos as part of the seed colony there that was supposed to be terraforming. And she's a technician. Unfortunately, however, she may or may not have been framed for sabotaging the terraforming equipment and also a little bit of murder by this guy right here. I have added some art for them. These are from the stock pack that I have on my itch, and I was like, Quan needs to be cute. He's got to be cute. He just feels like he needs to be cute. So I gave him some cute art. And he is not dead. He faked his own death, blamed us for everything, and then fled the scene. So our life goal right now is to find him and bring him back to the burrow to prove our innocence. We don't really know how to do that at the moment, or where he is, or how to even go about starting on that, but that's our background vow. The one thing that we do know that we need to do right now is his sister, right here, Zari, has given us a bit of a deal. The only deal that we can take at the moment, and will take anything, in exchange for a small favor. She has given us one of the ships for the guild that she works for. These are the people who fund the operation at the burrow, where everybody is originally from. Yeah, no real catch. Just drop the cargo off on our way to wherever else we're going and call the ship ours. It's stolen cargo, but, Anyway. Before we start, I do want to call attention to just a couple things. One, so I did start this journal here. I don't have, like, tons of stuff in it. I thought I would try and leave it kind of general notes. So I have, like, our general location, the one planet that we've not been to, but sort of fleshed out a little bit more, is down here. Eos, which I changed from Ori because every time I said the name, I'm like, I don't really like how the word feels in my mouth, so just kind of updated that a little bit. And then, yeah, Zari, Quan, and Vesper are the only people that we know right now. And then I also have pinned up at the top here questions and hooks. So if we ever get ourselves into trouble and we're like, what kind of strings can we pull? We can kind of go from there. Secondly, so we have Cassie's sheet. She goes by Vesper now. She has to have a new name because she's, like, wanted or whatever. I did change this up just a little bit because I realized that the episode where we picked, and this was random rolls for everything, the episode where we picked her assets and the episode where I did her stats weren't the same episode, didn't line up. That's my bad. So instead of having, if you see these stats up at the top, you have edge, heart, iron, shadow, and wits. Wits is like what you would think of as intelligence and wisdom. Shadow is like being sneaky. Iron is, you know, how strong you are, your constitution, your strength. Heart is kind of charisma, a little bit constitution. It's mostly social. And then edge is like, you know, speed, dexterity, that sort of thing. And I realized that a character that had 1 charisma, basically, and 1 stealth, and her assets were shade, which is stealth, and diplomat, which is charisma based. And I was like, that wasn't very smart of me. So what I did was I took away diplomat and I gave us, instead of her having a diplomat path, I put a workshop module on our starship, which makes sense to me because she is a gearhead. So she gets a bonus to repair. I'm keeping shade because I'm saying that because our ship is like a stealthy ship, the Eclipse like is a stealth ship. That's what it is. That's kind of where her new shade bonus is coming from. That's kind of how I'm dealing with that. Yeah. Okay. Everything else, I think. Oh, the one other thing is I changed the name of the Merchants Guild that runs EOS too, because it was kind of like not fitting very well with, once I like read everything back, it was kind of like, oh, the name that was randomly generized didn't really like fit with what we were saying about it. So I picked a different one. So now it's Eben Relics, and they are specifically trying to obtain crucial data or information about like, well, question mark. But as far as we know, they're trying to find out more about the iron deposits on Eos and do like archaeological studies and research. Anyway, that's all that. So right now, the only vow that we have is our background vow. We just finished building everything. Everything's great. So now we got to figure out how the heck we're going to play this dang game. How do you play a solo game? Well, let's find out. Build the starting sector. We already did that. Your region, your generate settlements. We already did all of those things. Oh, I will say that it recommended in here to do 3 of them. We had only done 2, so I randomly generated a 3rd one that is there. It exists, but it's not really necessary for us right now. I just wanted to try and follow the rules. This will be the first time I've ever read a game book like ever because I have ADHD and can't read. Anyway, generate planets, check, stars, boring, create a scepter map, done, create passages. Okay, so here is actually one more question that I wanted to ask. In Starforged, passages are like kind of highways, like an easy route between planets and stuff. And I wasn't sure if we wanted to just say that ours, I know, right, Jenna, following the rules. Literally, I've never done this in my life. Don't expect it from any other game because it's not going to happen again. Anyway, that these passages are rifts and wormholes, but I don't think I want to say that because this is like gets you a free pass. Basically, a passage is like you get safety for part of your journey as far as rolling goes, like mechanically speaking, but I feel like a wormhole, there isn't a journey. You're here, and then when you go through the wormhole, you just are somewhere else. Like, that's how those work. So I think passages are going to be a separate thing. Like, just the normal how passages work in the game, vanilla, is just perfect for us. Everything's going to be great. And then we can just have our wormholes on top of that as a treat. That's what I think. Okay, so set passages for the sector, charted route among the drifts. From a gameplay perspective, whatever. So we have to decide if the area that we're in already has passages. And I feel like this sector probably only has one to get out. Because, here, let me show you what we're working with here. So Eos is our planet. It is uninhabited, toxic. The only thing there is Burrow, our settlement, except right now, because the terraforming equipment has failed, been sabotaged, they're not actually on the planet yet. They are still in a temporary, like, orbital outpost, basically. So there isn't anybody living there right now. It is a, like, research outpost. The other things in this sector are a deep space ship and this planet Zephyr that has a hidden settlement that we know nothing about. Which is why I say don't even worry about that. Like, I randomly generated it. If it comes up later, it will. But from looking at those things, I don't think that there would be, like, a bunch of passages between all three of those and out to somewhere else. It would make the most sense to me if really the only safe passage that's already been charted here is literally from Burrow to wherever their resources are coming from. So, like, every once in a while, sort of Pacific Island style, you get a ship and whatever comes in on the ship is the resources that you have. So I don't think that we have a lot of passages here. I'm actually just going to passage, yep, click it like literally out like this. And it can go somewhere else. We don't have to decide where yet, just whatever. Anyway, we did that. Outlands. Oh, Outlands gets 2 passages. I stand by everything I said, even though, right, this page says Outlands get 2 passages. So what we're going to do is have 2... Whoops. I keep clicking things. Go away. Look, I can just say, no, we're not doing that. 2 passages. How about this one can have a separate one, but we'll do it like that. And we don't really, like, that's not our deal. And Janus is just kind of, like, over here on its own because they're their own deal being weirdos. So anyway, zoom in on a settlement. We have our settlement. I'm not worried about that. Create a local connection. We already did that. A connection represents an important relationship with a non-player character, which we did make. So we have a connection in the starting sector. We actually made 2 because we made the Sayer siblings. And then make the move. Take a look at the make a connection move, which is shown below. Instead of rolling, assume an automatic strong hit. Give them a roll and a rank. Okay, so that means right here, we can close this so we can see them a little bit better. Zari has a connection. Bam, done. Quan has a connection. Bam, done. Whether your connection age you want to move closely associated with the role, they're not going to do that right now at the moment. Give the connection a roll. I think we already gave them rolls, didn't we? Connection's role can be inspired by your character's background and recent history. Are they the doctor who found you in a crashed ship? Xenoarchaeologist is more expired. Oh, okay. So the role is like their job, not necessarily how they are connected to you. And we did talk about this. So she is logistics manager. Basically what that means is she is kind of in charge of getting resources in and handling how many resources are being used, ordering what needs to be ordered next. She's in procurement, kind of. Basically, that's how Zari is, so that is her role, which is why she was able to get the ship that we are currently taking from Eben, because she's literally in charge of the ships, where they go, and who has them. And then Quan, life support technician. They both work for Eben Relics, and they're on opposite sides of a... what did we call it? It wasn't a riot. Rebellion. They're on opposite sides of the rebellion, but those are their, like, you know, things that they're good at. Those are their jobs. It said mercenary because that's what we rolled up. I don't want him to... I'm gonna do it that way. because I don't think we know that he's a mercenary. We know him from his role as a life support technician. Like, this is a coworker, basically. Lurk while at work. Sullivan Kate, I don't know what you're doing this late in the evening, but honestly, I wish I had the job that I could do stuff like this at the same time. That would be fantastic. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you have fun. Come back if you have some nonsense you want us to get into. Give the connection a rank. Your connection's rank represents the challenge of advancing the relationship. The higher the rank, the greater the narrative focus and time required to eventually forge a bond with them. For a starting connection, consider making them troublesome or dangerous. Okay, well, if this has to do with advancing the relationship, this particular relationship with Zari, like, she's a coworker, we know her, she's helping us out, like, she's related to the guy who's now, like, our sworn arch enemy, and we don't even know why. So I feel like being able to advance that relationship would be kind of challenging, because she's already kind of push and pull with her brother, and we're not even going to be on the same planet as her after that. But she has a big part in how we're getting started, and I imagine she's probably going to have a big part in her background vow. So I don't want it to be, like, super too easy, you know? So it says troublesome, dangerous, formidable, extreme, or epic. And for a starting connection, consider making them troublesome or dangerous. So let's make her dangerous, I think. Makes sense to me. I keep closing this because of, like, who I am as a person. We're going to go with dangerous. Define characteristics. We did that. Choose the connection's home. We did that already. Give the connection a name. We did that. As you interact, you can find opportunities to develop your relationship and eventually forge a bond with them. Meanwhile, whenever your connection aids you on a move closely associated with their role, you may add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Okay, so it sounds to me like her having already given us the ship kind of shoots us in the foot for being able to use that, and we should probably start with getting the ship from her, and that's sort of the beginning of our trip, because that way we get +1 momentum and +1 on the roll, because she's aiding us. Okay. Introduce sector trouble. We didn't actually look at this because we kind of started coming up with our own trouble as things sort of escalated from character creation. But it wouldn't hurt to have a little extra drama, I don't think. So if someone in chat wants to roll a D100, exclamation point D100, all one thing, then you guys can... Oh, hey, Stardrew. Yep, see, Stardrew's on it. A 5. What do we got? Blockade prevents trade with other sectors. Okay, see, that's really a problem for here. Because, like I just said, they need to get all of their resources from other places. So let's go ahead. In my journal up here, I have my unanswered questions and hooks. So I am going to... just add one more. And we don't know what that's about right now. We don't know who is doing the blocking. We don't know why any blocking is happening. We don't know if it's trade for both planets or just one. We don't know if it's one passage or both. We don't know any of those things. I'm just putting it in the hooks and we're moving on. That's like kind of a juicy tidbit that could come in later if we needed to. Finalize the starting sector, give it a name. We've already done that because it like when we randomly rolled, it came with one. See, ta-da, NVIDIA Verge, which sounds like a graphics card to me, but I'm kind of fine with it. Stardrew has the roll command on. Yeah, for real. Stardrew, like, hopped in immediately. Okay. Sample starting sector. Fun. This is very helpful. We're using Stargazer, so a lot of this is done for us, which I love. But the examples in this book, fantastic. Begin your adventure. This is what we need. And I'm going to go a little late too, because I started a little late because I was having chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, and I do what I want. So we go on my time. Allow about 10 to 20 minutes for this exercise. Oh, okay. Have your character sheet, asset cards, and dice ready. Check. To record your vow, use your journal or the printable progress track worksheet in the Starforged play kit. We're good to go. Envision an inciting incident. Look like we might want to steal a ship and crew. We don't need to steal a crew, and we don't need to steal a ship. We're just piloting a ship with stolen cargo on it. It's a very normal, perfectly fine thing that all upstanding citizens do every once in a while. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway. Truths, character, sector. So this is like looking at all of the questions that we've all put together and try to find out what it is that's going to happen first based on the backstory. We already know what we're going to do. We need to get this ship from Zari and take the stolen cargo to Janice. We're going to meet Arvis there, give him the cargo. As far as we're concerned, we're going there, dropping it off, and leaving immediately because we need to find where Quan is. How do we find him? We don't know. But that's her first goal right now, is just get this out of the way so that she can move on to her actual vow. What makes a good inciting incident? Make it personal. Make it a problem that won't go away on its own. Give it a ticking clock. Up the stakes. Limit the scope. Limiting the scope. That's the important part here. Because just going like, hey, someone framed you for murder. Search the entire galaxy for them. Okay, good luck, bye. Is like, a little bit of a big task. So we can't start there, but we can start by dropping off cargo. We can make our very first run of just like, we got to get off Eos, step 1. That we can do. If you are playing with others, we are not. It's not a shared vow. Creating an inciting incident as the guide. We're not a guide. It's a solo and chat campaign. We are not still stuck for an idea. Keep going. Set the scene. Based on the nature of your inciting incident, where will you begin your story? Are you in the depths of space about to encounter some new mystery or danger? Are you at the settlement you detailed in the previous exercise? Whatever location, you have 2 options for starting play. You can begin with a prologue or in medias res. So if you don't know what in medias res means, it basically just means in the middle of the action. And I think that's where we're going to start. I think we're going to start in complete chaos. We are currently not on the orbiting, like, temporary space station that's set up around Eos that's basically like a camp while the terraforming is going. We're actually on Eos right now. There's a small team of people who were doing the research, getting their jobs done, right? This is going to be Vesper too. Like, she's one of the people that works on the terraforming equipment. This is part of her job. It was totally a normal day, and now sirens are blaring, lights are flashing, every button that's lit up, everything is going wrong. Nobody knows why. And I think right now, we are in a small, I wouldn't even call it a hangar, almost like a helicopter pad sort of parking lot situation. Like there's usually no ships, maybe one sort of like golf cart style shuttle back and forth from here to the orbital station. And that's it. And we are on this, we'll call it a helipad just for fun, with Zari. And you can hear in the background there is a like the speaker system is blaring and they're calling, like, people are looking for us. Last known location, Cassandra Nazari, like, and it's like reverberating as you can hear it from all the different echoes and all the different areas in this like temporary setup here. So we're like hiding. There's like crates. And Zari, what do you think? There's probably not keys, right? Starships don't have keys. Would it be like a card, maybe? Like from Fifth Element, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna Fifth Element. She hands us this card and goes, "What's on board the ship? It is extremely important that you get it to Arvis." What was his last name? Arvis Sato on Janus. But once you do that, the ship is yours. Go. And just sends us on our way. She goes, "I'll cover you." So that's where we're starting. We are running as sneaky as we can into a ship that we have never even seen before in an area that we do not usually need to go to because it's not part of our job. And someone is helping us, even though everybody else is looking for us and we don't really understand what's going on. In the middle of things, that's how we started. When it is time to swear an iron vow, jump to the next thing. Okay, so that's what we need to do. We need to swear a vow as she's holding... Can I have something I can hold? Actually, I literally have command vehicle. I literally have the command vehicle card. She's holding this and she goes, "Promise. Promise me you'll get the cargo to Arvis." And is like handing this multipass to Vesper. This is where Vesper has to swear her first vow of the game. Background vow doesn't count. All right. When it's time to swear an iron vow, jump to the next page. Here we are on the next page, baby. We're doing it. We are playing the game. Okay. Swear an iron vow. When you swear upon iron, which are, in this game, we have like plasma katanas, basically, that have little discs of iron in them. That's part of how the plasma comes out of the sword hilt. So you can just like have one that doesn't do anything because it doesn't have the iron in it yet. And then when you put the iron in there, ta-da, plasma sword. How does that work? Don't worry about it. That's not your problem. Go ask your mom. Don't ask me. Anyway, when you swear upon iron, which we have, oh, maybe that's what she hands us. Maybe it's not a multipass like for the ship specifically. Maybe the iron token is what she's like, you can take the ship, and then it will like, the biometrics will sign over or something. That would be cool. Anyway, write your vow and give it a rank, then roll plus heart. If you swear this vow to a connection, add +1. If you share a bond, add +2. Okay, so I don't think we have a bond. We just have a connections. Pretty sure. So let's go ahead and add another vow. I will deliver. Don't make fun of my spelling because I don't know how to spell literally anything. The cargo to Arvis. Is that how I spelled Arvis? I don't know. Whatever. On Janus. How do I want to phrase this? I think that we will see her again because she's a big part of the sector trouble around here and very connected to our background vow. I think we're going to see her again. How do I want to make this like immediate? I will deliver the cargo to Arvis on Janus is fine, but I want to add in kind of a sort of like a time limit to it. Like, I won't do anything else first. Immediately, I guess I'll just put ASAP in there. And we're going to go ahead and make this troublesome, I think, because this is our very first vow. So I'm going to start myself off a little bit easy because I'm allowed to do that. And we'll see how it goes. So let's roll first roll of the game. Here's our dice roller. We're going to roll heart, and then we get a +1 from her. And then we also get plus momentum, I think. All right. We got our vow. Roll plus heart if we swear this vow to a connection. Add +1, which we did. Okay. Let's see what we got. Where did my roll go? Where is it? Nope. Come on, when I pulled this up. Okay, there's that. Oh, I gotta roll the... Okay, gotcha. I'm dumb. Don't mind me. +1. Roll attribute. Weak hit. Okay, we got that. Can you guys see that on screen? Yes, perfect. Woo! Okay, the system is working. And then we can go over to our book here. On a weak hit, you are determined, but begin your quest with more questions than answered. Well, I'll say so. Take +1 momentum and envision what you do to find a path forward. Something that we read on the other page also said that we get +1 momentum. I'm sure that's probably this, though. So right now, our momentum is at 3. We have done it, team. We have done the first roll. We're doing it. Scott rolled a d10 for hurt. Oh, okay. So, real quick, though, if you don't actually know how this game is played, so how rolls work in Ironsworn games in general is you need 3 dice. There is a d6 and 2 d10s. The d6 is your action die, and the 2 d10s are the challenge die. So you're trying to get... You want your d6 to be higher than both numbers on your d10s. So you see here, my d6 ended up being a 7. And the d10s, you can see here on the challenge die, one was a 1 and one was a 10. You can't beat a 10. So I only beat one of them. If this was... Here, we can roll again, and I can show you again. So my d6 is a 3 on this one, and the challenge die are a 6 and an 8. So that one is a miss. On a miss, obviously, you fail, bad things happen. So yeah, that's what you're trying to do. You're not adding your d10s together. They're separate die. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. Now you know. Swearing the vow with allies, we are not doing that. I thought about having her come with us and having an NPC for the first part of the trip, but I was like, that doesn't... Since this is like the beginning of the game, I was like, let's just have one person. We'll add NPCs that we're going to be working within later. Just kind of build this up a little bit. You and your allies mark the vow on your vow worksheet or journal, which we did. Write the name of the vow, give it a rank. That we did. Since this is a starting vow, hopefully dealing with it in a session or 2 of playtime, give it a rank of troublesome or dangerous. Then turn to the next page to roll the dice and resolve the move. Okay. Rolling the dice, which we did. Oh, this is literally explaining the same thing that I just said. Ha! On a weak hit, you take +1 momentum. You are hesitant or anxious. Your next steps are unclear. This will typically lead to new scenes and new moves as you try to gain a foothold or uncover more about the situation. So, why would this next step be unclear? And I think for me, or for Vesper really, in this situation, she everything is unclear at the moment. She's confused about everything because this morning she was just on her way to her normal job at her normal job site, and now she's being accused of murder and trying to sabotage and potentially harm every single person in this station, and she has to get on like a strange ship and then leave and go somewhere to talk to somebody she's never met with cargo that she has no idea what it is. So I feel like hesitation in that sense kind of makes a lot of sense to me, especially since we said that she is a terraforming engineer. Like she's specifically like I think we said mechanical engineer, not software. She's not a pilot. So I feel like if there's going to be a complication here, if there's going to be hesitation, it's that she's sitting in front of the controls on this ship and does not really entirely know what she's doing, how to start it, how to like get it going. So I think it takes probably longer than expected, longer than we would want. So let's see if it, next steps. Let's see if this is about to say exactly what I was about to say. Depending on the result of the swear and iron vow move, you may have cleared a path forward, more questions than answers, or may need to overcome an immediate obstacle or threat. Envision what that outcome means and how you respond. And then, play. Ask and answer questions about the situations, people, creatures, and places you encounter. When you're unsure, ask the oracle. When you do something or encounter something within the scope of a move, make that move. At first, you might be a bit confused. Check. You might make mistakes. Check. That's okay. You'll find your footing soon enough. Okay. We can do this, team. We can do this. Look at this beautiful art. Gameplay. Okay. This is so cool. Quests, bonds, discoveries. We don't need to do this part exactly right now, but I will go ahead and leave it here. So what we should do, I think, so on this page here, you see we have our vows. We also have progress. So that's things like if there was a specific delve, like a specific area that we were trying to explore, this would be progress through that to meet a goal. But down at the bottom here, we have clocks. So I think a entirely reasonable, I would think, problem to have happen for our week hit is that someone notices us and we are potentially being tracked or followed or something like that. So I'm going to, well, first I'm going to get this out of the way. Name. The Burrow finds Vesper. Begin a session. I don't know what that means. And we'll make it... I think we can make it a 4-part clock. In this sector, there's only 2 other places that, well, actually, you know, I say that. There's 2 places that she could go, except there's also passage out, but the passage out is specifically barricaded. So there are other places that they could be checking for her first besides Janice. Janice isn't the first place that anybody would go. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's make it a 6-part clock, I think. Advance, like, yeah, can we, like... I don't know what that part means. We'll have to... Haha. Okay. Can I tick it backwards? No? Oh, okay. I figured it out. This is fancy. Anyway. So that's how that works. So now we have a clock that we have started. We're going to tick one piece. Can you tell how much I play Blades in the Dark that this is how my brain works? That someone has noticed the ship leaving. We will just leave it at that, I think. Who noticed the ship? I don't know. But they're looking for us. So we're off. It takes a while to get started. Maybe it's a little bit rocky at first, but we, in our jet black ship, which probably wasn't already named the Eclipse. We probably, I think as it's taking off, Vesper is focused, Cassie is focused on exactly what's happening in front of her and nothing else. But as she leaves atmosphere, as she puts in coordinates to where she needs to go, as, you know, autopilot takes over, and there's going to be parts of the course where she needs to come back in and navigate herself, but for a short moment, she has a breather, and I think she's sitting in, well, probably there's a montage of her just looking through the ship, trying to even find captain's quarters, crew quarters somewhere, but she's sitting in, we'll call it the captain's quarters, in her room, on the bed, knees tucked in, looking out a porthole window to the stars passing by, and realizing that she has to leave everything behind. And she left her family, she left her job, she left all of her goals, her career aspirations, but she still has her name. And as she looks out the window, decides that she can't be Cassie anymore because people are looking for Cassie. She needs to be someone else. She needs to fade into the shadows. She needs to be stealthy. She needs to not be seen or be found. So she names her stealth-cloaked ship Eclipse, and she names herself Vesper, which both have kind of night and shadow connotations, that she is going to try her hardest not to be found from now on. And I think that her staring out the window and watching her whole life fade into the distance is probably a great place to end for tonight. Yeah, because we're coming up on time. I am not used to playing multiple characters and like telling a whole story, so as I get more used to it, we can probably do more with NPCs, but for now I obviously am normally either a player or a GM and have someone back and forth with me. So this is still a bit new to me, but I think it went okay. We got our vow in, and then next time what we're going to start with is a move, which I can show you. So they're over here. We have all our oracles, which are what we rolled on in order to make all the characters and stuff, but underneath are all the moves, and as you can tell, there's many of them. There's many of them. They're color-coded, which is helpful. So these are like start-end sort of things. Oh, begin a session move. Set a flag. Okay, we didn't do that. We can do that next time. That will be fine. But these ones are face dangers usually in a fight. Swear a vow, reach a milestone. This is like after something happens. Connections, relationships, undertake an expedition. So these ones are the ones that we're going to start with next time. Like after we start a session and set a flag next time, the next thing we're going to do is probably either undertake an expedition or set a course. We'll find out which one, but they're here. Known route through perilous space. Trailblazer route through perilous space. That's probably the one we'll need to do. That's what we're going to start with. So right now, end a session. What do we need to do? When you end a significant session or chapter of play, reflect on the events of the game and identify any missed opportunities to mark progress. If you strengthen your ties to a connection, develop your relationship. If you moved forward on a quest, reach a milestone. If there's a quest, connection, or other situation you would like to give focus in your next session, make a note of it and take +1 momentum. Okay. So that seems like what we need to do here is roll to mark progress for our relationship with Zari. Make a progress roll. Do it for us. A miss. Literally a 0. Maybe that's not what I was supposed to do? Was I supposed to, like, mark 1 automatically? Okay, let's try now. Still a 0. Okay. Alright, I'll figure that out. I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Please ignore. Yeah, so that's all that.